And it is time to get started. Hey, welcome to At The Track Live. I am Coach James. I am the creator and lead instructor for All About Aerodynamics. What is All About Aerodynamics, you ask? Glad you asked. Even if you didn't ask, All About Aerodynamics is a science program where I use Hot Wheels cars to teach kindergarten through 6th grade students about a range of science and physics-related topics, including but not limited to force, friction, aerodynamics, drag, lift, Isaac Newton and his 3 laws of motion, kinetic energy, potential energy, elastic force, a whole range of topics. After we have covered all of the topics, after we have conducted experiments to drive home those concepts and ideas, then and only then do I bring in about 400 different Hot Wheels cars, and each student gets the opportunity to select a Hot Wheels car they think would be fastest in a series of races based on everything they've learned in the course. And once they've selected their cars, they weigh their cars, they test the speed of their cars, they check the materials the car is made from, the year the car was manufactured, all the information they can observe, they document that in a spreadsheet, and once they've done that, the only thing left to do is take the cars to the track. They set up a 1/64th scale quarter-mile drag strip and race their cars. We have a little tournament, and they observe how their cars performed. And did their cars perform up to or below their expectations? And if they had the opportunity, would they select that car again or make a different choice based on everything they've observed? In the end, we have fun with Hot Wheels cars and we learn science. What could be better? If you would like more information about our science program, All About Aerodynamics, you can go to our website, aaAerodynamics.com, or visit us on Instagram, AA Aerodynamics, and all the information you need to contact me is in the bio, and we can discuss how to bring our program to your school or your organization or your special event. But this is not all about aerodynamics. This is All About Aerodynamics presents At The Track Live. So what is that? Well, before I can bring all those cars in for the students to use, I have to make sure that I have them cataloged and organized and ready to go. And in order to do that, I have to take a picture of the car, I have to number the cars, I have to get them put into cases so that I can be able to find the cars when I take them to the students, and once they're done using them, put them back in the exact right spot. But that takes a little bit of time, and I end up with more cars in storage than I have introduced into the fleet for the students to use. So At The Track Live gives me the opportunity to go into storage, grab some of those cars, crack them open, get my pictures, get my video, and then have the cars ready for the students to use. And since the track is already set up, might as well have a little tournament and see how these new cars fare. But wait, there's more. You have the opportunity to participate. All you have to do is go to AtTheTrack.live, and when you get there, you're going to have 3 options. One is the YouTube stream link, one is the Twitch stream link, and the third option says choose your car. If you go to that page or that link, you will be taken to this page. And on this page, you will see all of the cars currently in the All About Aerodynamics At The Track Live fleet listed, numbered, and ready for you to choose. So you can scroll through and find the car that you think would be faster than the cars that I have introduced. You'll have the opportunity to select a car. If you pick the car that happens to be faster than all the other cars, you will not only win today's tournament, but you'll get to take on our fastest in fleet car. And our fastest in fleet car, this is going to be the first week that it defends its title, because we had a changing of the guard kind of at the top of our standings last week. The Blitz Speeder, which had been our fastest in fleet car for the majority of 2025, was defeated. And it was actually the second time this year that the Blitz Speeder has been defeated, but it was defeated by a car that we didn't expect to be as fast as it was. And that car is this one. It is the Mercedes Benz 500E, and like I said, it came out of nowhere. It was in an 8-pack that I had. I had an 8-pack of cars, and the Mercedes Benz was just one of the leftover cars. It wasn't even the car that I bought the 8-pack to get. It just happened to be the car that was in one of the cars left over in the pack. So as I was clearing those cars out, we put it in, and I didn't think it was going to do much at all. I thought it might win a race or two, just depending on the matchup, but turns out this car is extremely fast, and it was evident that it was fast because on our track, we fired it out of the launcher, it completed the race, and at the end of the track is a little memory foam barrier that I made so that the cars don't crash off the track. So the cars hit that barrier and tend to bounce back. Well, they always bounce back. Depending on how much force the cars hit that barrier with, determines how far back they move. And the thing that was interesting was this car hit that barrier with so much force. Our track is a 1/64 scale quarter-mile drag strip, which means it's just over 20 feet long. And this car hit the barrier at the end with so much force that it bounced all the way back to the start line of the track where the launcher is, and actually tapped the launching block, which is the little block that pushes the cars out. That's rare, and it's really only the fastest cars that do that, and this car did it a few times during its first few races, which was an indication that this car was fast, because sometimes you can't tell. If a car is just racing another car and it wins by a big margin, it could be that that car is fast or that the other car is really slow. So sometimes it's hard to tell how fast the car is, but when you see a car hit the end barrier, bounce all the way back, and tap the launcher, then you know something's going on. And that's what this car did. And as it moved through the tournament, it was defeating cars. And when it got to the Blitz Speeder, there was no contest and no question. This car took off, beat the Blitz Speeder twice, and is our new fastest in fleet champion. And it will defend that title today against whichever car comes out on top of the tournament. And this car is just another example of why you can't make too many assumptions about the types of cars that are going to win, because we put this car in the wind tunnel, and we saw that with this bigger frontal area, usually cars with big frontal areas don't do very well. There's too much drag, but not with this one. The air hit that front, came up over the hood, windshield, rooftop, and what we didn't see, the interesting part is we didn't see the air sort of separate, the airflow separate from the body of the car, which is something that we tend to see with the non-fantasy cars, the more traditional cars, that usually right around this area, the air just kind of tails off, and that creates a whole different area of lower pressure that can work against the forward momentum of the car, and there's a whole bunch of turbulent air. We didn't see that with this one. The air actually flowed along the roofline and seemed to follow down the rear windshield off to the trunk area and then off the back of the car. So it's not like any car that we've ever had do this well on the track, but hey, that's why we have to race the cars. Four-door sedan is our new champion, the BMW 500e, and we are going to find out if that was just sort of a random kind of luck of the draw, or if this car is really going to be around for a while. The way it beat the Blitz Speeder suggests that it might be around for some time, but we are going to find that out today. Virgo says, doing some things, but we'll be back for the races. Yeah, no problem. No problem. I've already got Roughshode's car that he picked on Wednesday, locked in and ready to go. So we're going to see what other cars may challenge the the Mercedes Benz 500e for fastest in fleet supremacy. And again, if you would like to pick a car, just go to AtTheTrack.live, select the choose your car option, go to this page. On this page, you will find all the cars. We are up to, oh, I didn't even have it over here with me. We are up to, I didn't have my case with the cars. We're up to car number 948. 948 cars are currently in the fleet, and we are going to be adding to that today. If you find a car that you think is faster than one of the cars I've introduced, let's say it's car number 401. Let's see what car number 401 is. 401 is this one, the Porsche 918 Spyder. If you think this is the fastest car, if you think this car is going to beat out whichever car I have selected, whichever car other viewers have selected, whichever cars I introduce new to the fleet, if you think this car could beat it, then and that's a nice looking car. All you have to do is take the number, in this case 401, drop that in the chat. I will pull the car, and once I've done that, you are in the tournament. It's just that simple. So we are going to find out which cars we're going to be looking at today. I also saw this car right here. It's come up the last week and then on Wednesday when someone asked me what my favorite Hot Wheels car was, and it is this one. This one that's in the fleet is the standard edition of this car. I have the original, which is this one, the one that I actually played with and had when I was a kid. And the original has gold Hot Ones wheels. This one just has the standard wheels, and I believe I have another one with the gold Hot Ones wheels. So I'm gonna have to check and see if I might have to swap this out and put the one with the gold Hot Ones wheels into the fleet and have this edition just set aside, because the gold Hot Ones wheels have nickel-plated axles, which allow the wheels to spin faster and a little more freely, less friction. So we will see. I'll have to check on that. Car number 401. But the thing is, they were asking me what my favorite car was, and I knew which car it was, this one, but I didn't remember the name. It's the Torino Stalker. And the reason I didn't remember the name is because it's not on the bottom of the car. So, when I was a kid or whatever, I didn't know the name of the car. I just knew what the car looked like, and there was no name on the bottom. So I never really called it the Torino Stalker. The number 3 black car. So that's it. All right, time to see which cars we are going to be introducing into the fleet. We've got some interesting picks. Let's see. So first of all, I just happened to pick up. They've reintroduced or put out a new versions of the Blitz Speeder. So I picked up another Blitz Speeder. So I think I have pretty much every variation of them. I have a gold one. Got this blue one. A green one, and then the gold one. So I think there may be one other version of it, but I've got plenty of these. So I like this car, the Blitz Speeder. And speaking of the Blitz Speeder, on Never Ending's channel, which is Hot Wheels Racing Simulator, he put the a blitz speeder into a gravity track race on his channel, and that video just dropped this week, and it's definitely worth checking out. The blitz speeder, it turns out, is as fast and was as fast on his gravity track as it has been on our track, on our flat drag track. And the results were very interesting. And I think he was saying he might send me that particular blitz speeder so that I can put it on the track, and we'll see if it is in fact up to the challenge. At this point, it would be challenging the Mercedes Benz, but we are going to find out. Oh, hey, never ending. I was just talking about the race on your channel with the blitz speeder, and I was surprised about how well it did. I didn't think that it was going to necessarily beat out those other cars. And so I think I left a comment, but I'm curious to know, do you have a fastest car? Like, is there a top, fastest car that you have? Because I know that you race the cars and you get the winners. Is there a top and fastest car that you have? I guess the equivalent of our fastest in fleet car. But yeah, check it out, Hot Wheels Racing Simulator, because it was definitely an interesting to see the blitz speeder racing in an environment that wasn't our flat track, and seeing how it did. So check that out. But since we already have blitz speeder in here, this one is just going to be set aside. It might end up as a prize car. We need to find cars that we don't already have. So I picked this one up, and we have plenty of Batmobiles in the fleet. Other than Lamborghinis, Batmobiles are probably the most, we have more Batmobiles than any other type of car. So I picked up this one last night, the Batman Arkham Asylum Batmobile. And I don't know if, I'm going to double check, because Batmobiles, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 different Batmobiles. It looks like it's about to be 17, because I don't see any that are the Arkham Asylum editions. So this is what we are about to have. Let's see. The Speed Biter or something like that. That's the fastest one. Okay. Well, if you get the name of it, let me know, because I definitely want to check that out and see if I don't know if I have one. Let me go ahead and look. This is the good part about keeping the spreadsheet. Speed. We have a Speed Bump, a Speed Shark, Speed Slayer, Speed Spider, Speed Trap, and Speedy Perez. Okay, so we don't have a Speed Biter, if that's what it's called, but we'll be looking for it. All right, let's crack open this Batman Arkham Asylum Batmobile and check it out. For our 17th Batmobile. And just as a point of reference, the Mercedes Benz 500E weighs in at 37.4 grams. And that's another thing. Aside from the shape and design, the weight made it a little unique, because we thought we had a sweet spot of weight, which is usually between 32 and 36 grams. Those are the cars that tend to perform best on the track, but this car is outside that, and it is our champion. All right, the Batmobile Arkham Asylum Edition weighs in at 29.6 grams, so it's actually a little light. And let's go ahead and check it out right over here. This is the Arkham Asylum edition of the Batmobile, and I am going to shoot this video first. And let's see. I made some adjustments to the whole camera setup, because I set up a track, a different track that has a speedometer. It has two speedometers on it, actually, for a class about scale speed. And I was making adjustments to the camera and setting up new broadcast scenes, and in doing that, I ended up kind of having to reset and redo the whole camera setup. And just before I started this morning, one of the cameras died, so I had to replace that and swap it out last minute. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong, but you just gotta be ready and adapt to whatever's happening. All right, this is the Batman Arkham Asylum Batmobile. All right, let's see. Batman Arkham Asylum Batmobile, and with this one, again, it's got all the standard kind of Batmobile style features. I'm looking at the back end, and it's got these pointed fins, and this one sticks out the furthest, so that is going to be the one that presses up against the launching block. And I don't know if that is going to be enough to give this car a good solid push, or if it is going to kind of bounce around the track. Oh, it's out of focus. Get it in focus, that might help. Or if this car is going to bounce around the track. It's hard to say, because the weight, it's lighter. So especially with a light car, you would think you're going to need a pretty solid push. All the cars need a good launch and a solid push, but especially when you've got a light car, you really do want to have a good solid push coming out of the gate. And I don't know if this car, I don't know. We're gonna find out. But let me get my still picture. Hey, Rough Shot, how you doing? We are gonna get this here. Another Batmobile. And let me swap out this background for the picture. So get a little more contrast in there on this Batmobile. Zoom on in. And get this lined up. 17th, our 17th Batmobile in the fleet. I don't know if this is going to be, at some point I'm going to have just an all Batmobile race. I don't know, is there like a Batman, you know how they have May the 4th for the Star Wars? Does Batman have is there a Batman Day that people kind of recognize? Then it'd be a good time to have that, all 17 of those Batmobiles race and find out which one is in fact the fastest. Maybe it's this one, the Arkham Asylum Batmobile. I don't know. All right, so we've got that one in there. That's car number 948. Let me check the year it was manufactured. That is 2010. So we have the Arkham Asylum Batmobile. And let's see. It is the Roadster Bite is the car. Okay. So Roughshot's saying that Batman does have a day. I'll have to Google that and find out find out when it is and maybe set that up. And who knows how many, if it's sometime next year, then who knows how many Batmobiles we may have by the time that rolls around. And then Never Ending saying that it is the Roadster Bite. I'm pretty sure I have one of those. Let me go ahead and check. This the good part about having this spreadsheet. The Roadster Bite is car number 659. Let's see what that one looks like. 659. So if it's 659, that means that it is definitely raced here before. And since it is not our fastest in fleet car, that means that it also lost. This one? The Roadster Bite. Interesting. See, look, and looking at this car, you would think this would have done really well on our track especially. I don't know which car it would have been racing at the time, like which car was our fastest in fleet car when this car came around. But oh, check that out. Okay. So we have Never Ending going for it. And this is his pick, the Roadster Bite. There we go, number 659. We are going to see what this car has got. I'm trying to think back when this car would have been on raced. It may have been the drag. What was that car? That it was a truck, Draftnator. It may have been the Draftnator that was on top, but we are gonna go right here with Never Ending. This was 659. And that was the Roadster Bite. Okay, we're going to get that one in there. Hey, Beyblader, you're going with 298. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what car 298 is. 298. Yeah, there've only been a... Oh, I remember this one. We definitely, Never Ending sort of upset the whole, like shook up the world with this pick, with that dog fighter. That one I still don't understand it, but I don't have to understand it, but I saw it and still trying to figure out how that thing was so fast. Where are we going? Oh yeah, we're going up to, oh no, we don't want that one. We are trying to go to 298. And let's see. 299, 298. This one? You are going with I didn't even check the name. What's this? The Vampyra? Is that right? Okay. This one looks like one that should be entered into our... I've been looking for cars to have for the Halloween races. It will end up being the Saturday, like the day after Halloween. But this looks like one that could make that Halloween cut. Vampyra. Interesting. Another fantasy car that's just... like in looking at it, can't really tell all that much about how it's gonna do. So we will be finding out. So we've got some picks. We've got Rough Shot's pick, which we'll take a look at later. Christopher's made a pick. We've got this vampire bat dragon thing, whatever this is. And we've got the Roadster Bite coming in. So we've already got 4, plus the Batman Arkham Asylum Batmobile. So we are off to a good start with a lot of different styles and types of cars already in the mix. So we've got that. What up next? I picked up this one, this Jaguar XJC V12 Coupe, which is a cool looking car, but I'm pretty sure, in looking at it, I think we have one of these already. Jaguar, do we? Jaguar XJC. No, we have a Jaguar XJ220. Two of those for some reason. And, oh, okay, good. All right, this one's going in. The Jaguar XJC V12 Coupe. Let's crack it open and take a look. Oh, on the back, what's it say? Born in 1976 in England, designer Jaguar. Adrenaline enthusiasts went wild for this broad-speed big cat touring car with a race-prepared Jaguar 5.3-liter V12 bored to 5,416 cc, producing between 550 and 600 bhp at 8,000 rpm. It's no surprise it set record qualifying times. So, all right, let's go with this. Check it out. This is a nice one. We've been kind of talking off and on about how some of the Hot Wheels cars have more detail, some have less, and this one definitely falls into the category of a car they spent some time on, put some nice details on it. It weighs in at 34.3 grams, so a nice solid nice good weight. Again, that Mercedes is outside of that ideal weight, or what we had thought of as the ideal weight, but this one's right there. So we have this Jaguar, and yeah, this is just a good looking car. Let me get a little fill light on there so I can boom, get our still picture. Actually, let me turn it just a little bit. There we go. And got that retro 76. They did a great job with the red and blue and all the stripes and colors on that white base. I like the blue tint on the windows. And what's interesting is it looks like, so the driver's side window is partially down. So right here, there's an opening right there at the top, which seems unusual because usually the windows are either sealed or open. So that's something a little different. And let's go ahead and get this thing spinning. And overall, good looking car. Lock that in. And get this little video here. And we have car number, let's see, this is car number 949. The back end flat, that's good. The weight's pretty good. I don't have any issue with the weight. What else? Let's see. The Jaguar. It's just pretty much a standard car. I don't know. I think if I had between this one and that Batmobile, I would lean towards this one just because it's a little more of a standard car. And that Batmobile, I just don't know what kind of launches it's going to get. Plus, it's pretty light. And light cars, when they get toward the back end of the track, drag just starts to do its thing and starts to work on them and slow them down. And I don't know. I think in this case I'd go with the more traditional car, which is this one. But we are going to have some others that are going to be in contention, and we are going to find out which one is going to step up and be there at the end to challenge that Mercedes. Now with this one, the car it's narrow, and That's not always ideal, but we'll see how that kind of plays out. But we have another contender. So we have the Jaguar XJC V12 Coupe, and we have the Batmobile Arkham Asylum Edition. Let me check the manufacturing year on this one. It is not listed. That's strange. Yeah, it's not listed. I will have to look that up. I like the wheels on that one too. I'm not, those wheels, I like them on certain cars, and I need to adjust the camera and get that off of there. There we go. It's a little more clear. All right, let's see, what else do we have? We have the, let's go check this one out. We have the Subaru BRZ. Let me double check, make sure we don't already have one of these. Yeah, that paint on that other one, that was nice. Let's see, the Subaru BRZ. We have a Subaru Impreza. Yep, we have a Subaru BRZ. It's car number 863. So I guess not long ago. So all right, so this is another nice looking car. Kind of a theme, that white base with the red and blue paint. This one has a little black in there as well. Good looking car, but we already have one in there, so this one's going to the prize bin. All right, let's see, what else do we have around here. How about this one, the Lotus Cortina. No information on the back, just a tiny little two-door, old school. I'm sure, I guess back in the day, maybe this was something to, take to the track. We're going to see what it does on our track. I don't have, well, first, let's check the weight. The weight on this one is 33 grams. So it actually weighs more than the Batmobile, despite being a smaller car. And it has those tiny wheels that are smaller than, so if you look at these wheels here and then look at the wheels on, say, this, you can already, I don't know if that's the best view, but they're small. And I don't know, just like we've only had maybe one car do well with those disc wheels, I don't know that we've ever had a car do well that had these tiny wheels. And that's not, it's not to say this car can't do well on the track, but I guess historically speaking, the odds are not good. The odds are not in its favor, but we'll see what happens. Always got to take the cars to the track, always got to race them, because if we just went on my thoughts and observations, I never would have thought the Dogfighter would have become a champion. I never would have thought that Mercedes Benz would have been a champion. When I was going back listening to the last episode, and I saw when I introduced that Mercedes, and I really gave it no shot, no chance to do what it did. I thought it would be a one and done kind of car, and turns out it's extremely fast. So we're going to see. I'm curious to see today how it matches up against some different cars. All right, this car, there's nothing really aerodynamically. It's not a lot, the aerodynamic profile, not too good. the tiny wheels, I don't know how that's gonna impact the car's speed and performance. The back end is flat. I guess that's one thing I can say it has going for it. Other than that, there's not much to say for it. It's just kind of a bland car. I mean, I guess I picked it. I was in the store, and I'm always looking for cars that are different than, just stand out a little bit. This one stands out, but it doesn't stand out in the best way. It's just different. We have had some cars that have this similar kind of old school look to them, like European old school race cars, but I don't know. My hopes are not. I'm not expecting much out of this car, but we'll see. The Lotus Cortina, we've been surprised before, and it's possible we'll be surprised again. So we've got the Lotus Cortina, the Batman Arkham Asylum edition, and we've got the Jaguar XJC V12 Coupe. What else? Let's see. Well, you know what? We're going to have some matchups. So here's one that I picked up. This 1970 Datsun 510 rally car. And it's, I picked these up, these Matchbox. There's a grocery store that I go to that has the Matchbox cars in these boxes. And I don't like it because you can't see the car. You get the picture here, and usually the picture is kind of close, but this action picture, I have no idea what the actual car is going to look like. I don't know why they decided to do it this way. Not even put like a little window or something so that you could see the car. I'm not really a fan of that, but let me just double check to make sure we don't have one of these, which I'm almost certain we don't, because why would we? 1970. Nope, man. Let me double check under 70. And I think it looks like only 1970 car. We have a 1970 Chevy Chevelle SS. So, all right. This one's next up. It is the 70 Datsun Rally. So, let's open this up. And they have them in this little tissue paper. Oh, okay. This is interesting. They could have, well, we'll get into what they could have done. Let's check the weight first. The weight is 39.1 grams, so this is a heavy car. This is a lot of metal on this one, so I think we are going to, this seems like it will be a good solid matchup with the Lotus Cortina. Now, what I absolutely noticed right off the back that I don't like is the fact that they did not paint. They just painted the lights, the roof rack, the spare tire, all the gear in here. They just painted it all blue, like whatever. I mean, if you take that part off, if you ignore this, the top part, the lights and the roof rack, then it's kind of cool. You know, they got the little decals on the side, the logos, the Datsun, Nissan, Goodyear. So they did a good job. The wheels, kind of, I don't mind the wheels. The wheels, everything was good all the way up. They even painted the pillars right here. Everything was good, and then it's just like they got to the roof rack and said, forget it. Let's just leave it blue. And that really kind of takes away from it. But, hey, it is what it is. We're going to see. Oh, and the other thing is all this blue, including the roof rack, it's all metal. So that's why this thing is so heavy. So we've got 39.1 grams, which is a bit, not a bit, that's a lot heavy. And Matchbox cars are already operating at a deficit because they just don't do as well on the track. They absolutely do not. And every once in a while we get a Matchbox car that's, decent, but it's never really competitive with the Hot Wheels cars. And I don't know why that is. I don't know what the difference is in the materials. It's not always, in this case, it's the weight, but with some of the Matchbox cars, it's not just the weight. It's just that they're not, they just aren't as fast. And I don't know what Mattel is doing. Mattel makes Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars, and I don't know what they're using. Maybe there's different the wheels are definitely different. But that shouldn't make all that much difference, I wouldn't think. I don't know, maybe the axles, I don't know what it is, but the Matchbox cars just are not as fast. And I think, when Hot Wheels was created, the idea was that most of the die-cast cars, or however they were made, the little 1/64 scale cars at the time, weren't cool and weren't fast. And when they designed Hot Wheels, they exaggerated the proportions, and the idea was to make them faster and to roll in a straight line than the other cars that were around at the time. And they accomplished that. But now that Mattel is making both of these brands of cars, I don't know what the excuse is. I don't understand why the Matchbox cars are always slower. Always. Even when the weight is the same. They just can't in the end. We've had a few Matchbox cars that have won a race here or there, but we've never had a Matchbox car take our tournament. Is today going to be the day? I don't know. I don't think, if I had, between this car and that Lotus Cortina that we just raced, two cars that seem pretty evenly matched. They're evenly matched until you start talking about the weight. And then the Matchbox car is absolutely going to lose out. There's no doubt in my mind that Lotus is going to smoke the Datsun. There's just no chance. You can't be that heavy. Even with those little weird wheels that the Lotus has, I think it's going to get this Datsun and knock it out. So that is absolutely going to be a matchup that we're going to see. Let me check the manufacturing year on this Datsun. It is 2016. Man, that's a heavy car. All that metal. Yeah, you're right. 2016. And we are now, let's see. We've got the Jaguar. We've got the Batmobile. We've got the Lotus. And we've got the Datsun. Let's add in another car. Get another pick in here. And let's see. I have the, let's see. No, that Blitz Speeder that I just opened, or that I just got, this one, it's probably just going to end up as a prize car when I think about it, because I've already got 4 or 5 of them, and the only difference really is the color. The wheels on most of these are pretty similar. So, yeah, I think this one's just going to end up as a prize car that some student can pick. We got this one. This is weird. This is the Hoto Roto. Maybe it's Hoto Roto. It is, let me double check, make sure we don't have one. And this is part of the problem. Instead of going into the storage bin like I should, which is the whole point of this, to sort of clear out the storage, I end up going to the grocery store and, Target or wherever, and then I go through the aisle and find cars. So I've got old cars, I mean cars that I bought like years ago, in storage. Meanwhile, here we are, and I'm, opening up a, new for 2025 car. But, that's how it goes. Do we have a Hoto Roto? We have a wired hot wheel. We do not. So I guess this one's going to go in. It's an open wheel car, which is always dangerous on our track, but we'll see. Let's see. It says on the back, the Hoto Roto was born in 2024 in El Segundo, California. Designer Hot Wheels. Capturing the garage build spirit, this hot rod embraces a gritty aesthetic to complement its exposed components and sheer power. It will steal the car show with its high-revving, fuel-thirsty 4-rotor engine. All right, let's see what it's got. All right. Feels very light, but we're going to find out. It is weighing in at 28.2 grams, so it feels light because it is light. And let's go ahead and take a look at it over here and see what we've got. The Hoto Roto. And go ahead and get this video. It's got those disc wheels at the front, which we saw, is it the Formula Solar? One of those cars that had similar wheels and did well. Now, the wheels are open. If this car crashes and it slams into the barrier, it is most likely going to be toast, but hopefully that won't happen. The car is narrow. The back end it's got a slight curve to it, but for the most part, looks pretty like it'll be fine with the launch. But it is narrow and it's light. That is not a combination. It's narrow, it's light, and it's got open wheels. Those three factors mixed in together suggest this could be a grand opening, grand closing situation for the Hoto Roto. Just ideally, you want a wider car, and you want a car with a flat back end, and you want a car with a little bit of weight to it. Not too much, but we used to say, still say, because for the most part it's true, cars between 32 and 36 grams do the best on the track. But our current fastest in fleet car is 37.4 grams. So it's not a hard and fast limit and rule, but we are aware that we haven't had a car that's really light do well. We've had some cars be a little heavier and do well, but not a car that's super light. And this one definitely falls into that category of light cars. So we'll see. The Hoto Roto. Turn it a little bit. And we now have, let's see, we've got, let's go ahead, and why not, let's see if I have one more car here. Do I have one more car sitting up here? So, I do have this one, which is the El Segundo Rally E. But with this one, here's the thing. I just don't like the color. This sort of bland gray. I like the yellow gold windows and windshields, but this is just one of those cars. I don't like the tire, the wheels. This is one of those cars that I know it's a fantasy car, that they're going to come out with a different version of this, different colors, different. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I'm almost certain this is exactly the kind of car that they're going to come out with some other color scheme for it. And when they come out with a better color scheme, then I'll take that one and introduce it into the fleet. This one, I bought it just in case I changed my mind, but in looking at it, I don't really, not really feeling that one. So this one's just gonna be set aside, and you know, I'll wait until I get a better version of that. Now we might be able to run this one. We have a 96 Porsche Carrera, and I'm gonna check and see if we have one in the fleet. If we don't, then this one will be it. And if we do, then we will just move on to the viewer picks, and I'll pull all those cars. We have a 95, 96 Chevy Impala, and a 96 Dodge Viper. Okay, let me check 1996, because sometimes the cars get listed that way. Yep, 1996 Porsche Carrera. It's car number 60. Let's take a look and see what that one looks like, if it is the same. Yeah, I think, yep. Roughshod knows it better than I do. He just said, got a blue one, and yep, there it is, the blue one. Blue one's fine. Blue one's, I mean, it's another example of they just, other than the Porsche badge right on the hood, they just paint it blue, but it looks like they did the tail lights, so maybe they were just trying to stay true to the actual version of the car. I see the headlights have a little bit of detail there, but by comparison, this one has all kinds of little, well, I guess this is part of the 90s theme, so it's got all these little 90s color splashes. Looks like the inside of a Taco Bell from, like, you know, 91. But I like the wheels. But hey, we already have one, so this is going to end up as a prize car. So some student will get to pick that. And there we go. So all right, we have how many? Let's see. We've got 5 cars that we're introducing new to the fleet, and then we have our viewer picked cars. So I just need to go pull that Roadster Bite and the Vampyra, and then we will take a look at those along with Roughshod had this 2013 Ford Mustang GT, and Christopher picked this Murray Automotive T.50s. So I'm going to go grab those other 2 cars, and then we will take a look at those and be one step closer to hitting the track. It's going to say 5 minutes. Won't take me 5 minutes. I'll be right back. so let's go ahead and look at this, let's see, this Vampyra car. It weighs in at 34.9 grams, so that is, again, it's right in that sweet spot. Let's take a closer look, and it is definitely kind of a bizarre looking car with this kind of vampire bat theme, but it's got the head actually works out because it's reduces the frontal area, so that is pretty good. But I'm looking at this back end, and it's got this, I don't know what that is, but this big square or rectangular back end, but it's got these 2 points sticking out. So it looks like, when you look at it from the side, yeah, those 2 points are going to be the only points of contact for this thing on the launching block. So usually we tend to see cars do well that have a lot of surface area pressed up against that launching block, and this one doesn't have that, but we will see how that impacts the overall performance. And we're going to have to put this in the wind tunnel on Wednesday, which is something we do, Wind Tunnel Wednesdays, every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific on YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram. And we put these cars in the wind tunnel, and usually we can get an idea about how drag is going to impact the cars. But with the fantasy cars, it's really hard to tell because there's so many unusual angles and shapes and things like that. So we're going to see. We're going to see what this car, the Vampyra, does. And that is Beyblader's pick. Then Never Ending picked this one, the Roadster Bite, which is, I believe he said it was the fastest car on his track over at Hot Wheels Racing Simulator. And his latest race that's up, the Blitz Speeder, is in the mix. Alright, so this Roadster Bite comes in at 37.2 grams. So it's just 0.2 of a gram lighter than the BMW. And this car has raced before on our track. I don't remember how it did, because it's car 659, something like that, and we're at 940, 950 or something like that. I don't see any reason why this car shouldn't do well. Now, it's wider at the front and a little more narrow at the back. I don't know if that is going to create a situation where it can bounce around, kind of fishtail. But for the most part, I see no reason why this car should not be particularly fast. Now, it doesn't have, right here, it doesn't have a canopy. It just has this kind of open area. And we have seen with cars in the wind tunnel that the air will hit in this area. And will that work to slow the car down? How much will it impact the speed? I don't know. We're going to see when it hits the track. But no reason this Roadster Bite shouldn't do well. So I would be surprised if this car is, let's see. Yeah, looking at the cars that we have, I will be surprised if this car is not in the finals. So we'll see how the Roadster Bite does. Then we have the 2013 Ford Mustang GT, the roughshod pick. That is coming in at 35.6 grams. So right in that window that we have known as the sweet spot. And this one was interesting when we put it in the wind tunnel, because this sort of hood scoop thing, it comes up and it hits right about 2/3 of the way up on the windshield. And so we saw more of the blitz speeder type of airflow where it just flowed right across the hood to the windshield to the roof line and right off the back. And I think that's because of this covering, this scoop right here. And that meant that the air actually, once it hit this front bumper, came up and hit this part of the car and ran up right to the roof. Instead of, if this hadn't been there, the air would hit lower on the windshield and then pull up, and then we might see that kind of that separation of the airflow from the body of the car that we tend to see with traditional cars. But this one, I think that piece right there is going to be key. It gave it a more blitz speeder like airflow and aerodynamic profile. Now, one thing that is interesting is what kind of launch is it going to get, because the little parachute pack sticks out just a little further than that back wing. So this is going to be the only point of contact. But as we saw with the Dogfighter, you don't necessarily have to have all that contact. You just have to get good launches. So we'll see what kind of launches this car gets. It's a little narrow, so if it gets a bad launch, it could bounce around the track quite a bit. But we'll see. We'll see if that happens. All right, and then our last viewer pick entry is the Gordon Murray Automotive T.50s. This is the car that Christopher picked, and it's got a very Lotus like kind of vibe to it, and the back end is flat. It's got that wing sitting right at the roof line, which is something that we've seen in design element we've seen in cars that have done pretty well on the track in the past. I don't really see anything wrong with this car. When we put it in the wind tunnel, I think there was quite a bit of flow separation right here, which is unusual for a car that's, shaped like this. Usually we see pretty smooth airflows right over the car, right to the back. But this one, I don't know if it's because of this little element right here or something else, but this one didn't have a typical aerodynamic profile when we put it in the wind tunnel. So we're going to see how this does. But I think still right now, just looking at the group of cars that we have racing today, I think that Roadster Bite has pretty much the best chance of the cars that I'm looking at. But you never know. So let's go ahead and get ready to hit the track. If this happens to be the first time you are watching an all about aerodynamics at the Track Live race, here is what you are about to see. You are going to see our 3-camera track view, and the cars are going to start in the screen on the left at the top in the launcher. I am going to give a countdown, 3, 2, 1, race. I will hit the switch. The cars will come firing out of the launcher from top to bottom. They will pass out of the bottom of the screen on the left, show up at the top of the screen in the middle, the center section of our track. They will go from top to bottom, passing out of the bottom of the screen in the middle, showing up at the top of the screen on the right, our finish line camera. And they will pass from top to bottom. They will cross the finish line, and the winning car will be indicated with a solid red light. A solid red light indicates the winning car, and a flashing red light indicates the losing car. And cars will switch lanes after each race. The races are best 2 out of 3, and the first car to take 2 races will move on in the tournament. If a car crashes and leaves the track, no problem. We throw out the results of that race and just reset the cars, run that race again. If a car crashes twice consecutively the same way, then that car is disqualified, because crashing twice consecutively in exactly the same way means that there's some problem with the combination of the launcher and the car and all of that that's not going to be solved by just rerunning the races. So that is what we have. As I mentioned just before we came on, the the camera that shoots the center section of our track just died, and so I had to grab another camera, swap it out, and I'm just going to check quickly. And yeah, I see it's at the 10% less. I was trying to charge it while it was going, so I'm gonna have to adjust that. Hopefully that camera has enough juice that we can get through the races, and we'll see what happens. So I am going to grab these cars, and we are going to head over to the track. I'm going to check that camera, and we are going to get these races underway. So I will see you over at the track in 30 seconds. All right, let's see. Hopefully that camera gets enough of a charge to see us through these races. Let me just double check the audio. 1, 2. Yep, we are good to go there. And it is now time to see which of these cars is going to challenge that Mercedes Benz 500e, the big dog, the big wide body luxury 4-door sedan. Let's get all these cars out here. I think we're going to go first with that Lotus and against the Datsun, and see how that plays out and turns out. Okay. Yeah, Lotus against the Datsun. The Lotus with those little wheels, which I am not. I don't recall a car other than the. There's a car that is a bobsled, and I think we raced that, and that had these little wheels. Otherwise, I don't know any car that's had these tiny little wheels, but we have this Matchbox Datsun, which is very heavy. I think it came in at about 39 grams, which is kind of outrageous for a car this small, but it's all this metal. And trying to get it lined up to stay put. Now I do notice that and this is still the case, that the Matchbox cars are more true to the real proportions of the car. And so Matchbox cars tend to be a little more narrow than Hot Wheels cars. They're more, they're just true to the actual, oh, that Datsun, that little rally thing on the top and the spare tire, the little roof rack, makes it tall enough that I need to use the taller acrylic cover. But because the other car doesn't need it, that means we're going to go with our custom cover, the one that has one side taller and one side lower, just for situations like this where we have a taller car and a standard car. All right, so we've got the Datsun, the Matchbox Datsun in lane 2. We have the Lotus Cortina, the Hot Wheels car, in lane 1. Here we go, race 1. Three, two, one, race. So a couple of things, a few different things. So the Hot Wheels car, the Lotus, crashed, so that race gets thrown out. But I also remembered, just as I was counting down and pressing the button, that I didn't plug in the finish line. So it's good that that race is getting thrown out and starting over again, because had it been close, I might not have been able to tell which car won. So that Matchbox car, the Datsun, went down and looked pretty good, but it had no challenger because the Lotus exploded into the barrier and flew up in the air and off the track. So let's go ahead and line these up again and see if we can get an actual race now that the finish line camera is set up. And we will see what the this Datsun. It would be shocking, and it would be kind of appropriate, almost fitting, if this Datsun turned out to be fast, because of the way I just completely have dismissed it. But hey, Matchbox cars have performed the way they have. I'm not making that up. So here we go again. The Datsun is in lane 2. The Lotus Cortina is in lane 1. Race number 1. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Okay, both those cars seem to have some speed to them. The Lotus, the Hot Wheels car, took it with ease, but that Datsun didn't seem slow. It lost, but it didn't seem slow, if that makes sense. That was a good, solid race. We're going to switch sides, switch lanes, and this multi-level acrylic cover has really done the job these last, I mean, since we've had it in use, and it really makes sure that both cars, whether they're taller or standard, get an even and good shot at performing on the track without one car getting an advantage. And what you really want to do is just try to even things out, make things as consistent as possible, as fair and even as possible, so you can get a true outcome and find out which car is fastest. All right, we've switched lanes. We've got the Datsun in lane 1. We've got the Lotus Cortina in lane 2. Race number 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Oh, here comes the Lotus. Is the Lotus going to tap? Oh, no, it came up about a foot short. But okay, that Lotus with the little wheels. I see you. Beat out the Datsun, and the Datsun is now going to be just another Matchbox car to have not gotten the job done. So maybe one day we will find the Matchbox car that can hang with the Hot Wheels, but that day is not today. And did I bump this thing? Bump that a little bit. All right, let's see. What is our next matchup? Our next matchup is going to be, we might as well see what it can do. We're going to take this Hoto Roto with the open wheels and the very lightweight. We're going to put it up against Roughshod's Mustang GT. And let me take this cover off. We won't be needing that. We might need it again for the that Vampyra car, but for now, we're going to go Hoto Roto versus the 2013 Mustang GT. Mustang's in lane 2, and the Mustang has that parachute pack that is the only point of contact with the launching block. And we've got the Hoto Roto, which is the very light open wheel car, and if it crashes, it will be joining Forky in the open wheel car graveyard, and we'll see. we'll see exactly what happens. Trying to get it to stay in place, but the Hoto Roto wants to roll forward and not stay pressed against the launching block, which is, come on, just stay put. All right, here we go. All right, so we've got the Hoto Roto in lane 1. We've got the 13 Mustang in lane 2. Race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. The Hoto Roto pulls it out at the end. It was trailing for the majority of that race and then just sort of caught up at the end, which is unusual for a car that is that light. Usually we don't see light cars making gains at the back end of the track. But this one did. And that means that the other car was slowing down, and slowed down enough that the Hoto Roto could close that gap. Now we'll see in this next race if that was a fluke or if that was just how it is. So the Hoto Roto is now in lane number 2. The Mustang is in lane number 1. Race 2 coming up. Mustang lane 1, Hoto Roto lane 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. This is a fast track today, but that Hoto Roto was on fire and took that race. So the Hoto Roto will be moving on. And as long as it can stay on the track, who knows what it can do. All right, let's go. We're going to go with this Arkham Asylum Batmobile against this Vampyra car. They've got a similar thing. Bats, Vampire Bat, Batmobile. You know. So let's see. Let's make sure this Vampyra doesn't need the other cover. It scrapes just a little, like it's just scraping the top of the regular cover. So we're going to switch it out and give it the elevated cover, which should allow it to race up to its full potential. All right, we're going to put the Vampyra car in lane number 2 and see if Beyblader's pick is going to come through. And let's see here. And get the Batmobile lined up in lane 1. And all right, our 17th Batmobile, the Batmobile Arkham Asylum Edition, is in lane 1, and the Vampyra Beyblader's pick is in lane 2. Race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. And the Batmobile absolutely took that race with ease. And let me just do one thing here quickly. And okay, Batmobile. And Batmobile number 17. Take this. We will switch lanes and see if the Vampyra can it's got to take 2 races in a row. But that Batmobile looked quick. and I don't know that unless there was some kind of problem with the Vampyra's launch, I don't see how it makes up that kind of a gap. Like, that's not, I didn't see anything wrong with its launch. And so that's a bit of a problem, because sometimes if there's a problem with the launch, you can say, okay, that car lost by a lot, but that just seemed like a straight beating in that matchup. So we'll see if I can get this Batmobile to stay put. And it is ready to go. We're ready for race number 2. We've got the Batmobile Arkham Asylum Edition in lane 2. We have the Vampyra in lane 1. Race 2, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Okay, Vampyra. Vampyra's not ready to go down without a fight, so the Vampyra takes that race. And we are going to race number 3. And we are going to find out. Let me just make sure right here that the Vampyra is clear of the tripod. It is. And now we will see what is going to happen in this third race. I kind of like this Arkham Asylum Batmobile. It is a nice, I don't know, it's a little more compact than some of the other Batmobiles that tend to be kind of longer. But I like what I'm seeing. Let's see. Batmobile goes back into lane 1. And Vampyra in lane 2. So we're having the battle of the bats, the Vampire Bat versus the Batmobile. And that Batmobile won't stay put. All right, Batman. All right, Batmobile's in lane 1, Vampyra's in lane 2, race 3, here we go. Come on, Batman. 3, 2, 1, race. He's Batman. Batman takes it, and we'll be moving on in the battle of the bats. And let's see, that center camera is staying on, so it's got enough of a charge. Hopefully that continues through the rest of the races, and then we'll see what we've got. All right, so we've got the Batmobile, the Hoto Roto. We've got the Lotus, and it is time to race this Jaguar. Let's take the Jaguar up against the Roadster Bite. How about that? I think that'll do. Roadster Bite, which is on Never Ending's track, the Hot Wheels racing simulator. It is his fastest car, the equivalent of our fastest in fleet, and we are going to find out if the Roadster Bite can do the same here on our track. So we're going to put the Jaguar in lane 1. The Roadster Bite is going to be in lane 2. Roadster Bite, I don't know why this car wouldn't do well, but we're going to see. Roadster Bite's in lane 2, Jaguar's in lane 1, race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Roadster Bite took it, and it looked like it was slowing down a little bit towards the end, that the Jaguar was starting to close the gap, but there just wasn't enough track left, and the Roadster Bite hung on and ended up taking that race. We're going to see if that is a trend that continues in race number 2. We've got the Jaguar lined up. in lane 2. Roadster Bite in lane 1. Race 2, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Okay, the Jaguar pulled it out. Another close race. We've had some good races today, and the track definitely seems to be running fast. I switched out the elastic band this morning, and when you have one of those fresh bands, you have higher speeds because you have that greater force. There's more, when you stretch that band out, it has more potential energy, and when you let it go, that elastic band snaps back together. That kinetic energy that it creates, what did I say? The first time around, when you stretch it out and hold it, it's got more potential energy. When you let it go, that kinetic energy transfers to the launching block, which ultimately transfers to the cars, and boom, we get our faster speeds. Okay, this is race number 3. We've got the Jaguar set up in lane 1. We have the Roadster Bite in lane 2. This is race number 3. Here we go. Three, 2, 1, race. So the Jaguar lost. The Jaguar made the mistake of coming out of the launching block. Mistake, whatever. And it went up on 2 wheels. When it got up on 2 wheels, the race was pretty much over from that point because it went up on 2 wheels and then it corrected itself, landed back on the track and finished the race. But in a close race especially, cars can't afford to lose the time that it takes to go up on 2 wheels and then correct themselves. If that other car is staying on the track, it's over. And that is what we saw there. All right, let's go with, we'll go with the Batmobile, the Arkham Asylum Batmobile, and Christopher's Gordon Murray T.50s, and see what kind of results we're going to get now. With that T.50s, it has all the, it's a very Lotus-like, I guess that's what I keep going back to. It's got a Lotus kind of look and feel to it. In the wind tunnel, we saw some things that didn't suggest this car was going to do very well on the track, but that's just one kind of measure. We've got the Batmobile, the Arkham Asylum Edition in lane 1. We've got the Gordon Murray T.50s in lane 2. Race 1, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. He's Batman. Batman takes it, and that is just another notch in the utility belt for Batman. And we are going to switch lanes and see if this T.50s can make up a deficit and take these next 2 races. It's going to be tough because this Batmobile has shown that it's a serious car, and we're going to have to find out whether or not this Gordon Murray car, which had problems in the wind tunnel, it looked like drag was just going to be eating this car alive. I'm sure the real car has things built into it to control the airflow, but this Hot Wheels version, not so much. And we're going to see. It's going to need to take 2 races from the Batmobile. Gordon Murray T.50s is in lane 1. Batmobile Arkham Asylum Edition, lane 2, race 2. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Here comes Batman. And that is a wrap for the Gordon Murray T.50s. It just could not stay anywhere near the Batmobile. And we're down to 4 cars. We have the Hoto Roto, the Lotus Cortina, the Roadster Bite, and the Batmobile. So let's see which matchup is up next. How about we go Hoto Roto against Roadster Bite and see what we've got. So, never ending. Pick the Roadster Bite, which is the fastest car on his track. He has a gravity track setup. It is pretty amazing. Check out his channel at Hot Wheels Racing Simulator. And as I always say, the production value is just next level. But this is the car, the Roadster Bite, is the one that's come out on top. His equivalent of our fastest in fleet car. And the Roadster Bite is in lane 2. The Hoto Roto is in lane 1. Race 1, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Whoa. Okay, that race was so close I had to check the lights, and the solid red light indicates that the Hoto Roto took the race. I like it when we have these close races. I'm also glad that I've got this finish line to indicate and let me know which car came out on top, because that seemed to be pretty much neck and neck for most of the race. We are going to switch lanes. The Hoto Roto is staying on the track. It's making quick passes, and that is, hey, all we can ask. All we can ask. So we're switching lanes, putting the Hoto Roto in lane 2 and the Roadster Bite in lane 1. We're going to have to see if the Roadster Bite can make up this difference. Still a little, the Hoto Roto just does not want to stay pressed against the launching block, which is key. The car is getting a solid launch. Don't want them getting punched out, want them getting pushed out. Okay, we've got the Hoto Roto in lane 2. We've got the Roadster Bite in lane 1. Race number 2, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Solid red light, solid win. Hoto Roto is into the finals, and the Roadster Bite will be heading back to the garage. So now, our next semifinal matchup is going to be the Lotus Cortina against the Batmobile. And you're going to find out here which of these cars is going to move on to take on the Hoto Roto in the finals. We are setting the Batmobile up in lane number 1 and the Lotus Cortina with those tiny wheels in lane 2. Lotus Cortina lane 2 and Batmobile lane 1. Race 1, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. The Batmobile made the same mistake the Jaguar made. The Batmobile was out in front. Then it went up on 2 wheels. And when it went up on 2 wheels, it stayed there for a split second. Then it got back on the track and raced. But in that time that it spent up on 2 wheels, the Lotus passed it. And that is exactly what happened with the Jaguar. You cannot be in a close race and have that happen, because you're just not going to recover. If it's a close race, Yeah, that will make the difference, and that absolutely made the difference because the Batmobile was pretty much in the lead. Now, with that said, what it suggests is, as long as the Batmobile can just stay on the track, it should be able to take these next two races. But if it doesn't, the Lotus Cortina with its small wheels will be in the finals. Here we go. Batmobile, lane 2, Lotus Cortina, lane 1, race number 2. Three, two, one, race. So that time the Batmobile stayed on the track and won the race with ease, with complete and total ease. And it seems like, based on what we've seen, so in race number 1, Batmobile had a lead, and then it went up on two wheels, and then it lost. Second race, Batmobile stayed on the track, no issues, and it blew out the Lotus. But now we're going to race number 3, and we're going to see. We've got the Lotus lined up in lane 2. We've got the Batmobile lined up in lane 1. Race number 3, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Batmobile crashes. And it's interesting with the Batmobile. So now we've had the Batmobile on one race. It went up on two wheels and came down. In this race, it crashed. And it goes back to the kind of launch. The only point of contact for this Batmobile is the point of the tallest of the three wings. And that means that you just don't know what kind of launch this car is going to get. It's not consistent. So when it gets a good launch, it does what it did in the previous race, which is just blow out whatever car it's facing. But it can also end up wobbling around, going up on two wheels, or it can crash completely. So there is something to having a solid point of contact with these launching blocks. So we're going to run this again. We've got the Batmobile in lane 1. We've got the Lotus Cortina in lane 2. This is race number 3. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. That race was a lot closer than I expected it to be, but the Batmobile, as you can see from the solid red light, took the race, and that means that the Lotus Cortina represented well for cars with small wheels. That's a car that would probably beat out, I'd say, not most cars, but quite a few cars. So the Lotus Cortina, I'm glad that I picked that up, took a chance on that one. But our finals matchup is going to be the Hoto Roto against the Batmobile, and then whichever car wins that will get a chance to take on the Mercedes 500. All right, let's see here. We have the Hoto Roto lined up in lane number 2. As usual, the Hoto Roto does not want to stay put, and it is making me work to get it lined up in the gate. Come on, this thing. All right, got it lined up. Batmobile is in lane 1. And now the Batmobile doesn't want to stay put. All right, the Batmobile with its single point of contact, we've seen it have great passes. We've seen it crash. We've seen it go up on two wheels, stay on the track. But it needs to stay on the track and beat out the Hoto Roto to take today's tournament. So we've got the Batmobile in lane 1, the Hoto Roto in lane 2. Race 1, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. He's Batman. Batman takes it and is one step closer to the finals I'm sorry, to the fastest in fleet finals. All right, so the Hoto Roto is a light car. It's light. It's got disc wheels in the front. It's got some speed to it, but is it going to have enough speed to beat the Batmobile? Because that race was pretty clear victory for the Batmobile, and the Hoto Roto is going to need to do something if it's going to force a third race, and we'll see if it can make that happen right now. This is race number 2. We've got the Hoto Roto in lane 1. We've got the Batmobile Arkham Asylum Edition in lane 2. Race 2. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Well, that Batmobile was not playing games that time around. The Batmobile takes the race. The Batmobile Arkham Asylum Edition, our 17th Batmobile in the fleet, is now our tournament champion. The Hoto Roto represented well. It stayed on the track. So for an open wheel car, I'm always nervous that it's going to crash and have some disastrous career-ending axle bend, but that is not what happened. Nevertheless, it lost. It is back to the garage, and we are pulling out for its first title defense. We are pulling out the Mercedes Benz 500E. This is the car that shook up the world last week, blowing out the blitz speeder, coming out of nowhere to do complete and utter damage. That car is going to be in lane number 1. The Batmobile Arkham Asylum Edition, which has looked very fast, is going to be in lane 2. Mercedes Benz, fastest in fleet champ. First title defense. Here we go. Mercedes Benz 500E in lane 1. Batmobile Arkham Asylum Edition, lane 2. This is race 1. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. He's Batman. Batman, absolutely. This Batmobile, I mean, destroyed the Mercedes-Benz 500E. And the Mercedes-Benz is going to have some work to do. It seems like from the results of that race, the only hope is for the Mercedes to hope that the Batmobile has one of those weird starts again and get some kind of bad launch, because that race was not close. Not close at all. And I didn't see anything wrong with the launch that the Mercedes got. It just was, that was not close. And here we go. The Batmobile Arkham Asylum Edition in lane 1. The Mercedes-Benz 500E in lane 2. The Mercedes-Benz is our fastest in fleet champion. It just won the title last week. Are you telling me it's not going to be able to hang on for 1 week? Well, if it doesn't win this race, yes, that's the case. That's exactly what we're saying. So, Batman Arkham Asylum Batmobile in lane 1. Mercedes-Benz 500E, lane 2, race 2. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. I'm Batman. I'm the champion. The Mercedes-Benz, one and done. The Batmobile Arkham Asylum Edition is our new fastest in fleet champion. And let me gather up these cards, head back into the garage, take a look at our new champ, and see what we've seen and what's coming next. So let me grab these cards. I'll be back in the garage in just a minute. Okay, so we are definitely in an interesting time as far as what we're seeing on the track. We have had ever since the Dogfighter came and shook things up, we've gone through the Dogfighter was champion, the Slide Kick was champion, the Blitzspeeder was champion, the Mercedes Benz 500e was champion, and now the Batmobile Arkham Asylum Edition is our latest champion. So we've had 5 different fastest in fleet champions in the last month. And this is a car that is pretty interesting because if it gets a good launch, it's kind of lights out. But will it always get a good launch? Because it got a bad launch against the Lotus, and the Lotus took a race. Had it gotten another bad launch, it could easily have lost. But we saw when it stayed on the track and was locked in, it was over. And let's see, what was the weight? Double check the weight on this one. This was 29.6 grams. So it's light. So we're just everything. It's almost like we're having a reset on the whole racing formula and situation, because we had a range that we would see cars perform well in, 32 to 36 grams. That was the range, and that's where we saw cars do well. But the Mercedes Benz was 37, so it was outside that range. And this one at 29.6 or whatever is below that range. So kind of having to do a reset. But this car is our fastest in fleet champion. We will see next week what cars it's going to face. And on Wednesday, we're going to put it in the wind tunnel to see what the aerodynamic profile looks like on this car and see what we can tell. Now, an honorable mention for today's racing goes to this one. The Lotus Cortina beat the Batmobile in one race. Now, granted, the Batmobile did have a wobbly start, but nevertheless, hey, this car won. This car was faster than I expected, especially with those tiny wheels and just the overall shape and design of the car. I didn't expect much, but it was pretty fast. It was fast enough, not fast enough to be the champion, but it was fast. And you know, it just goes to show you just never know until you put these cars on the track. And I have ideas based on everything I've seen, the patterns, the cars that have won, the races I've watched, the things that seem to work on the track. And sometimes cars just defy all those former observations and expectations, and boom, they just take the race. Now, what I will do is I think I will keep the Vampyra car. I think that will be one of our Halloween race cars. And so I've got a handful. I've got 3 definites. There's a 4th one. I've got 4 definite cars lined up for the Halloween races, and I will be looking through the fleet to see if I have any more that would qualify. If you would like to pick a car, remember, all you have to do is go to AtTheTrack.live, select the Choose Your Car tab, and you will be taken to this page. Roughshod has already locked in his potential picks for Wednesday, and that's something that especially Roughshod and Christopher have done. You pick 2 cars, and then we put those in the wind tunnel, and then based on what you see, you make the decision which car is it going to be that you're going to go with. And let's take a look and see what is car number 162 162 is the Diesel Boy, the blue one. I forget what color the other one is, maybe orange or something. All right, so we've got the Diesel Boy, and this is a unique car, definitely. It's got a big, like just looking at it right now, it looks like that frontal area is pretty big, and I would expect that when we put it in the wind tunnel, the air will just kind of flow and separate from the body of the car right at that engine compartment, and who knows what happens after that. So that's one car that Roughshod is considering. That is Diesel Boy. And we will look at the other car that he may be selecting, which is 292. And 292 is this one. Okay. The Voltage Spike. Now this is interesting because it's got this huge sort of splitter thing at the front, but I can't tell from the picture if it's open. So if it's open behind there, then that means that the air is going to have a chance to just flow through that, and then it will hit the, underside of the car. But if that thing is sealed up and closed, then that front scoop splitter thing will be acting like a parachute and really increasing the amount of drag for this car. So we'll have to take a look on Wednesday and see what this actually looks like a little closer up. The Voltage Spike, and we will see which one Roughshod ultimately goes with. And then after he's selected his car, it will be back here on Saturday to take on our cars that are introduced into the fleet, and whichever car comes out on top will challenge the Batman Arkham Asylum Batmobile, our 17th Batmobile in the fleet. So 17, sweet 17. This is the car. That's the car to beat. So we're going to take a look at the aerodynamic profile on Wednesday, and then we'll have a better idea of what we are getting into as far as the upcoming races. So another good day of racing. We had plenty of just odd matchups, interesting matchups, close races, and the Batmobile came out on top, new fastest in fleet champion, which really means that everything's kind of opened up, because all those cars that lost to the Blitzspeeder, yes, they lost to the Blitzspeeder, but that doesn't mean that they can't necessarily beat our new car, our new fastest in fleet car, especially a car that's so where the launches can be great or the launches can be terrible. The Batmobile crashed. The Batmobile went up on two wheels. If it had done that in the same 2 out of 3 races, we could easily be looking at the Lotus Cortina as champion, or the Hoto Roto. Who knows? But we are definitely in for some interesting races down the line. We're going to see if are we back to a situation where cars can only remain champion for 1 week after we had such long stretches with the Gazella R and the Blitzspeeder. Who knows? So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for watching. If you want to see any past episodes, you can go to our YouTube channel, and under the live tab, all of the past episodes are listed with time code. You can jump to whichever part of the races you want to see. And yeah, we're going to be back here next week. So for At The Track Live, for All About Aerodynamics, for Wind Tunnel Wednesday, all of that, I am Coach James, and until next time, I will see you at the races.